She say she want hood nigga. I keep the perk by the pound. The trunk stay bumped and y'all know we run the town. Hood nigga. And I keep a bad bitch around. Thick bitch, long hair, yellow, white, red, brown. Hood nigga. And my Chevy sitting on 24s. Flats look like flapjack. Pancake, you ain't no hood nigga. I'ma play the game how it go. They can take me out the hood, but I'ma keep it hood, folks. I'm on that good and alcohol. I got some down bitches I can't call. What's that? I don't know what I would do without y'all. I'ma fall till the day I fall. Yeah, long as my bitches love me. I can give a darn about no hate long as my bitches love me. I can give a darn about no hate long as these bitches love me. I can give a darn about no hate long as these bitches love me. Let me tell you about this country shit. Country shit. Let me tell you about this country shit. Country shit. Let me tell you about this country shit. Country shit. Let me tell you about this country shit. Country shit. Country shit. Let me tell you about this super fly, dirt, coast, muddy water. Shorty, pop that pussy if you wanna. Let me tell you about this old school Pauline, candy yams and collard greens, pocket full of stones, riding clean.
Well, I'm just one parlay away from a new house, new car. I'm just one parlay away. Trust I'ma take us far. I'm just one parlay away. One parlay away. One parlay away. Oh, I took the Chiefs on over. Took my homes on yards. Everything is going good so far. Lakers beating the Knicks. Spread is only 6. 2 minutes left in the game, baby. I'm about to hit. Ow!
I need out, yeah, I need out. Blood pressure higher than a body count. Tomorrow she has to go. She's a mama. I think I married a hoe. Married a hoe. I said, mama, I think I married a hoe. I made a mistake, mama. No, oh no. I want you. A man can't do nothing for you. All these hoes ain't loyal. All these hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. 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 These hoes ain't loyal. When a rich brother wants you and your
y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all, to another episode on the JVJ Network. I am your host. Let's talk with JVJ, man. I hope y'all doing all right tonight. Matter of fact, man, we're gonna do a round of applause on that one. Hype me up! Hype me up, y'all. Make sure on y'all way in, hit that like, subscribe, share, turn notifications on, all that in the bag of chips, y'all. We trying to grow around here. Can only do it with y'all help. But yeah. Tonight, y'all, is gonna be a different type of night, y'all. Hey, 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 hey. It's gonna be a different type of night tonight, y'all. We actually gonna cover a little bit of these politics. Yeah, I know some people don't want to hear that shit. They tired of all that bullshit. Like, fuck, I don't even want to think about that shit no more. Now, we gotta talk about it, man, because I know there's a lot of people out here that don't know really what these folks been doing throughout this term that we have going on right now. And it's a lot of devilish ass shit. And I gotta do a certified 100% salute to my boys over there at Breaking Point. Cause ever since this goddamn fucking, like, they was on some funny shit before. But these motherfuckers been on point, bruh. I'm trying to tell you, these motherfuckers not missing. They not missing when it comes to the content, when it comes to letting people know, at least the average American know what really is going on, at least for those who actually care. And I hope the people that are here tonight actually give a fuck, because I want you to see some of the things that are going on in our government right now. And it's eye-opening. Let's put it like that. It's eye-opening. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first video. We're just covering breaking politics tonight. So y'all want to go watch some goddamn pop the balloon type shit, yeah, and this ain't gonna be the show for you tonight. Because we covering politics. We gotta talk about what's going on right here, because America's fucking up right now. But before we get into it, get your cigarettes, get your weed, get whatever you need, because we about to get into it. So shout out to Breaking Point. Let's get it, y'all. Let's see what they got. And I sped this shit up because we got like a couple of them we got to go through. But this one right here, y'all, the first one, pertaining to gas and the gas tax. In contrast with, this war that we got going on in Iran right now. So y'all check this out.
As the war in Iran rages, President Trump announced yesterday he was in favor of suspending the federal gas tax. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, which is basically writing up comments he told reporters in the Oval Office. We can put the first element up on the screen. Trump said, quote, "I'm going to." He said gas prices will, quote, "drop like a rock after the war." And when he was asked how long he would consider suspending the gas tax for, he said, quote, "until it's appropriate." Worth noting, where AAA has gas prices, the national average here, we can toss up on the screen, $4.50 a gallon. $4.50 a gallon as of today. When you scroll around the map, you see prices in California at $6.15, Michigan, $4.71, Illinois.
Now, remember, y'all, a lot of people said they elected this guy because, he's going to get prices down and shit, man. I'm like, your gas done went up at least $1.50. At least $1.50. And it ain't looking like it's about to go down no time soon. But I can even vouch. Somebody actually sent me a picture of the gas pump at Walmart. And y'all know Walmart gas cheaper than everybody else shit. When it hit $4, the motherfucker was like, what the fuck? It's like crazy. Yeah, $4 for some goddamn a gallon of gas, y'all. A gallon of gas. Old liquid fossils from goddamn dinosaurs and shit. They liquid, they goo. Like $4 for a gallon of that shit.
Almost $5 a gallon, $4.97. There are still some states where it's a bit lower, basically nowhere lower than $4 a gallon. In most places, much, much higher than $4 a gallon. So you can understand why President Trump would be feeling the pressure to take that federal gas tax and suspend it. Let's toss this Wall Street Journal element up on the screen as well. B3, looking down the barrel at what might be happening in California, just as we discussed, them already having sky-high gas prices. The Journal has this piece. Think $6 gas is bad? It's about to get even worse in California. Why is that? Well, the state just got its last shipment of Middle Eastern oil, Sagar. So the pain is about to be felt this is the tip of the iceberg, I think is actually probably the best way to put it. It's about to get much, much, much worse around the country, heading into the midterm elections, summer travel season. It's then going to give way to fall election pressures. And you're at this point asking.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't get it. Like, they think that, and I actually had conversations with people that think, like, once this war with Iran stops and Trump, they all figure it the fuck out and they just stop. They think that everything just overnight is going to go right back to normal. Like, bro, you done fucked up the supply chain for months. for months, bro. Motherfuckers about to feel this shit. Like a lot of people think we done felt it right now. We have not felt the impact of this war when it comes to that oil. And that they only export like out of that area like 20, 25, 20, less than 30% of the world's entire oil. And just that little bit can fuck up the whole goddamn thing. And that's what it's doing.
To turn the Titanic around when it comes to getting some of these refineries back up to capacity. Even if you were to wave a magic wand, end the war today, it's going to be a huge, huge problem for the administration. Last thing I'll say is Senator Josh Hawley introduced a bill yesterday that would actually allow President Trump to sign this into law. It's pretty clear he can't do this by executive action. So Republicans now getting on the bandwagon in Congress as well.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're talking here about 18 cents a gallon. Like that's just what we already have in Iran war tax. The Iran war tax is what, $1.50, something like that. You know, the California example is a very good one. It's something we've been trying to hammer home here because we always say, oh, America is a net energy exporter. Yeah, that's true. But what do we learn is that each individual region of the United States is uniquely vulnerable to the conditions for gas. That's why gas is a very different price in California than here. A lot of people like to talk about how California has a high gas tax. Definitely true. Don't get me wrong. However, 1/3 of California gas comes from the Middle East.
Right.
Why? Well, they have to import it. It's far away from a lot of the refineries. They don't want refineries in California. You sign your own destiny. They don't want refineries. We haven't built a new refinery in this country since the 1970s. Most of them are being, constantly tinkered with and or updated, but brand new ones not happening. If you compare the Chinese refineries to ours, it's not even a question. Granted, they have no environmental regs. They can do whatever they want. So, it's definitely kind of complicated. But the point is that 75% of the oil in California comes from somewhere else. Only 25% of it is domestic. 1/3 of it comes from the Middle East. California is actually more reliant on crude oil shipments from Saudi, Iraq, and the UAE than any other state in the nation. Quote, it'll take a month or two for flows to resume. Then you still have...
Hey, look, think about y'all. For y'all in California, bro, this sucks for y'all, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You might want to get your legislation to let y'all actually get some oil refineries around there so y'all can actually refine some oil. But y'all know the United States, we export majority of our oil. Our shit's not the type of shit that you really can use like that. That shit got to go through a lot of refineries. The United States just needs to actually invest in manufacturing like Trump promised he would do. But y'all see that's not happening. But yeah, man, y'all getting stuck in the butt out there in Cali, bro.
All of the catching up to do. And so Iraqi oil actually just came for the first time, I think, in a while to the shores of California. I mean, look at a map and think about how long it's going to take to get there. So gas prices as of Friday in California are $6.16 a gallon. Diesel costs about $7.50. That's $1.82 more. The state's stockpile of refined products such as jet fuel and diesel are, quote, increasingly strained as big Asian fuel suppliers, including South Korea, slow exports to California, are all being slowed down from everywhere else. Because remember, California, because of all this importation of oil, means it's not only going to have a higher diesel price, but all of these other refined products, the things that we use. Only about 35,000 barrels a day of refined products are due to arrive from South Korea in May. That is down from 100,000 barrels a day in April.
Right.
And it doesn't help that 2 of the state's major refineries just closed in the last 6 months, cutting off 1/5 of its fuel-making capacity. Even if the strait reopens, its closure has already withheld at least 1 billion barrels from the global market, and California is getting as little relief as large tankers from the Gulf Coast come in. The Trump administration, remember, they did the Jones Act. We've already spent enough time on the Jones Act here on the show. But the reason why I'm going deep into this is that California is a very, very extreme example. Like, put B2 up there on the screen just to show California at $6.15 a gallon. But let's take some other states.
When y'all look at this shit, it's kind of crazy when you look at the graph because majority of the states that are getting hit the hardest are blue states when it comes to the oil imports. A lot of the southern states, I know these states down here at the bottom because, I live down there. A lot of these red states, which are showing blue on the screen right now, like, bro, they not getting hit that bad, but they're still getting hit, bro. Gas, if y'all really think back, and it's crazy because us going through this generation right now, y'all, we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff. I think we might have the button to put on. Like we were the worst generation when it came to like things that happened throughout our lifetime. But right, it's Alabama, Georgia. Florida is in white, which is crazy, but Florida's higher with it being in white. Like all these blue states, like shit, man. All right, I ain't even gonna hold you.
With high gas. Illinois, for example, right? Illinois is at $4.90 a gallon. And in fact, Michigan and Indiana and Ohio all actually have very, very high gas. Now, people would say, why? Well, what was I reading about? Oh, a refinery that happens to produce the oil for those 3 states had a problem, an accident or something like that. And so that means that, just take the oil offline, which means it's have to come from elsewhere, by rail, by truck, whatever. And then same in the Northeast corridor. So Pennsylvania, so 466 a gallon. And in fact, you have pretty high gas, which is colored there in red, pretty much all along the Acela corridor, even in the states where you have all these refineries and, it doesn't have to travel that far. Let's say Oklahoma, you've got $3.94. And even Texas, the petroleum state, is at $4 a gallon. What this highlights is 2 things: the global commodity of oil, and 2 is just the sheer complexity of moving oil and gas all across the United States, and why, one of the things, it's a very interesting story, is one of the biggest trading firms in the oil markets is now betting that Trump will do an export ban. And what he's betting on is that, just to explain, the exact mechanism, he is betting on the spread between West Texas oil futures and Brent crude futures. The only way that would happen, even more so, is if we had an oil export ban. And this seems, again, like a clean talking point. We'll just no more oil. But that doesn't account for California getting 1/3 of its oil from the Middle East. So where's the rest of it going to come from? Are there refineries even set up to refine oil, let's say from Venezuela or from Texas or from anywhere else in the United States? And if they are, how can we even get the oil over? These are huge logistical problems to keep everybody on the road. And in the long run, it would actually create individual shortages, probably like in California or elsewhere. It might immediately actually lower the price here, but in a month, maybe 3, you would begin to see problems. In 6 months, you're just going to straight up, a shortage. And also, it would actually dry up one of Trump's biggest talking points, which is we're making so much money off of this, which is technically true if you are in Texas or if you are an oil company who are making money hands over fist. So yeah, if you're in Midland or if you're a Houston strip club owner, you're doing great. Or a Ford F-150 dealer in Midland, it's money.
Billy Bob Thornton, if you're in the Taylor Sheridan universe.
Right, I actually met a fan of ours who's a literal landman. She was a woman though. It was interesting. So she was telling me about her landman.
I love it.
I was like, wow, okay. So apparently it's a real thing. I had no idea. But what you can actually see inside of this is just the intricate nature in which all of this is just falling apart. Like the gas tax, the fact that we already haven't done it is nuts, in my opinion, because 18 cents a gallon.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I just looked up the federal revenue from the federal gas tax every year. About $23 billion a year, according to Fox. How much have we spent on the Iran war so far?
Oh, more than that. Yeah.
The Pentagon's estimate, which is lowballing, is $25 billion.
Right. So it's just like one-on-one, right? So it's just the gas tax is paid.
But it's such a good example of what we prioritize and what we do not prioritize. And yes, we do need money to maintain federal highways and such, but we also don't need to start a war with Iran.
Yes.
Give me a fucking break.
I'm with you. All right. And yeah, it drives me nuts.
She has a point. Because think about how much money that is, yo. They talked about they generated. Like, just think about that amount of money. Like, fuck, you generated 23 or $25 billion off of just an 18-cent tax on gas in the United States. Federal government generated that much money off of 18 cents. Every time you fill up 18 cents on the gallon or whatever the fuck it is. You got that much money and you just blew that shit within what? It ain't even been 2 months. People might want to get a little pissed off. It's like when I literally put out a video of just that segment right there. Not just that segment, just that little part. It's like people sit around all day long when black folks open their mouth and say something about reparations and say that where we're going to get the money from. Bruh, you could pay every black descendant of a slave they money out off of that gas tax. But we don't want to give it to somebody to help people out and like right or wrong. We'd rather just spend that money on killing people. And they wonder why people in other countries yell death to America. But either way, though, let's keep going.
Let's put B4 up there on the screen. Like, for example, this was what I was talking about in our earlier block, is how the Iran war is draining the world's oil buffer at an unprecedented pace. And they say global oil stockpiles have dropped by about 4.8 million barrels a day between March 1st and April 25th, far exceeding the previous peak for a quarterly drawdown. Crude accounts for almost 60% of the decline and refined fuels of the rest. Crucially, the system actually does require a minimal amount of oil. And I think we've explained this before, where it's not that it's like going to zero is so catastrophic, you know, for a refinery and others, that you need a minimal amount of oil. Like it's actually apparently better for a refinery to go from 100 to 10% than from 10 to 0. Because when you go to 0, I don't fully understand all of it, but it's bad things happen. You're not really supposed to turn it off. And if you do, it takes forever to turn it back on. So the minimal amount of oil that you need to maintain like the current system, we're approaching that within the next like 6 months to a year. Now, I realize it's like, oh, well, that's far away. Keep in mind, it's May 12th. The war began on February 28th. The war began when it was cold. Now it's not cold. Think about it that way. Almost full season. Like we're going into summer. So it's like, well said. It's been a while actually since the war started. So is it that inconceivable that you were to see it in 3 months from now? Not really, actually, considering the way that everything has gone on. So 3 more months of this, which again, I don't think really is out of the question, considering the on again, off again, on again that the administration has walked us into. I don't know. I don't see a way out of $6 a gallon.
I don't think you're wrong.
And I think a lot of us are going to actually have to deal with that. Like, being honest with you, I think a lot of us are going to have to deal with that. And I think a lot of people need to get ready for that situation just in case, because there looks like there's no end in sight when it comes to what we're dealing with right now, when it comes to this so-called war. Y'all, we don't have an objective to accomplish. For all the people that wanted to, I ain't gonna lie, I know I had a few people came over here and was trying to tell me about war and all this woo stuff. And I still see comments. Like, I put shit up on TikTok. And honestly, I think some people on the right think that I'm just pro for the war and shit. They come in here like, yeah, fuck, they deserve, they can't never get it. I'm like, bro, when the fuck did them people come over here and fuck with us? Like, when they did something to you or somebody in your family? Not fucking never. But for some reason, they so fucking evil. Oh, because they said some words in a country where y'all want to say nigga every damn day and say freedom of speech. So they saying something in their own country, and you use that as justification to say that they're evil and they're going to do this and do that. Oh, they're the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. Motherfucker, the same people that we put in power to overthrow governments, we went to war with them later. You ever heard of ISIS? Yeah, the United States government created them motherfuckers. They funded the Houthis. United States federal government funded them people. But it's like they don't understand, they don't know what's going on. But I'm like, this shit right here is gonna fuck you up. And what should really piss people off is when you have a president that a lot of these motherfuckers voted for. I got a gnat in here, bro. I'm about to kill this motherfucker. This bitch flying in my face, bro. I don't know where this bitch came from, but he about to die today. Either way though, we got all these people that voted for this one guy, and this one guy literally just let y'all know. And I'm gonna show you. He gonna let you know he don't care about you struggling. He don't care about you barely being able to buy groceries, barely being able to buy gas. His #1 focus is just saying Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. He don't care about none of the citizens in America. He just saying, nigga, they can't have that. And if y'all gotta suffer for me to stop them from getting it, then y'all gonna suffer. That's what he pretty much said. And I know some people be like, oh, Trump didn't say that. Well, let me go and show you something.
You become a podcast.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'll let the commercial go by first because we ain't playing on commercials. All right, let's see what we got. I want y'all to see this right here. This is funny.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed, we do. The Iran war is spiking inflation significantly, causing most people to take a pay cut because their wages are not keeping up with that inflation. Men are increasingly losing out in Trump's economy. Some very interesting.
Oh yeah, here you go. Matter of fact, my bad. Let me go back real quick. Like, I'm gonna let her get it rundown now because we're gonna talk about y'all white men. Y'all wages ain't going up and the inflation going up. Y'all losing money right now. And also that Trump don't give a fuck about none of that shit. All right, so either way, my bad. Let her go and do a rundown again. My bad.
Is spiking inflation significantly, causing most people to take a pay cut because their wages are not keeping up with that inflation. Men are increasingly losing out in Trump's economy. Some very interesting statistics here that are very much at odds with some of the promises of the Trump campaign. Israel is now, according to global polling, the most hated country on the planet. By the way, we are not far behind, so we'll dig into that, as well as a very interesting Eurovision scandal. The rigging complaints were apparently valid. New York Times did a whole investigation, so we'll look at that. A new poll has AOC leading Dem 2028 potential contenders. Trump is heading to China amidst the Iran war defeat. We're going to have a reporter in studio to talk about what is expected to come out of their very significant meeting. And Robert Pape is going to join us to talk about how pressure continues to build with regards to the Iran war and what we can all expect next.
Yes, that's right. Thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. BreakingPoints.com if you're able to support the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen to the podcast. Please share an episode with a friend. It really helps other people find the show. But as Crystal said, let's go ahead and start with inflation. Some horrible inflation numbers that came out yesterday that were backstopped even more by some, I mean, can we call them shocking comments? I don't know, but you will certainly be hearing many of them in the midterm election cycle. Here is Donald Trump saying, I don't think about Americans' financial stability. Let's take a listen.
When you're negotiating with Iran,
All right, here, I'm going to slow this down, y'all. I'm going to slow this down right here, just so y'all can make sure y'all can, I'm going to put it at normal speed, just so y'all can make sure y'all hear it. Because this motherfucker literally going to say he don't give a fuck about you struggling. All he give a fuck about is Iran and having a nuclear weapon. I just wanted to slow it down real quick.
Let's take a listen.
when you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that matters.
He don't give a fuck. He literally said the American economy. He the president of the United States. He will destroy this goddamn country economically. Have people out here starving, suffering, great recession type shit. As long as he can keep some motherfuckers in another country from having a weapon that we have ourselves. And I know some people will come out and say, well, they'll use it. Motherfucker, the only people on the planet that ever done use it is motherfuckers that's in this country. And I think them motherfuckers, most of them dead by now. But we the only country that ever done use one. So who the fuck are we to judge somebody else for using it? He don't care that you broke and poor. He don't care that you destitute out here in these streets. He don't care about none of that. I'm just gonna let it play. He don't care.
It's the only thing that matters. Not even a little bit. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. Okay, well, let's check in with Americans' financial situation. Let's put this up here on the screen. The Wall Street Journal. Inflation has soared to 3.8% in April, driven by gasoline prices. Investors started the year were pricing in Federal Reserve cuts. Those are all but off the table now. And so not only are you paying higher price for gas, you are also going to be having a higher mortgage. If you're trying to buy a home, you're going to have higher food. You've got fuel oil, airfare prices that are up by 21%. Apparently in the car community, it's going viral that they expect a shortage of motor oil. So, PSA, if you need your oil changed in your car, you should go and get that done relatively soon. In a few months, there may not be any motor oil apparently on the shelves. Literally, they were warning that Walmart and some of the other big buyers, Costco, I believe, may not even have it on their shelves in a few months. So we not only have outright shortages that are looming, but the highest inflation reading in over 3 years. Inflation obviously was the crippling thing for Joe Biden's presidency, as he also became obsessed with these foreign policy misadventures or bad policy abroad. And so it's literally like a repeat television story, except somehow even worse, because this one was created, Crystal, just to get away from the previous one. Shocking, I guess, in the retrospect, but if you've been paying attention for a year or so, not all that surprising.
Yeah, and the Iran war is the most proximate cause, obviously, of the spike in inflation. And you can see that in the particular categories that have gone up. But tariffs continue to be a factor there as well. So this is entirely of Trump's making.
Hey, look. Let's not even talk about these tariffs, because I remember in the beginning when motherfucker Trump was saying he was doing these tariffs, and I kept trying to explain that shit to dumb motherfuckers about these tariffs. Like, bro, you pay it. A tariff is a tax on us. Like, the United States, they putting a tariff out. Nigga, we the one who paying it. If we buy anything from any country that they designated, we got to pay the tariff to get it in here. Let's not get started on the tariffs. But she gonna talk about the tariffs. Like, that shit fucked up shit too.
Which people know. And we're going to do a segment later on some polling that indicates they're very unhappy with this direction for the country. But just to go back to those comments and pause on them for a moment. I mean, can you imagine What would be said if Joe Biden had said, I don't think about their financial condition at all? If Barack Obama had said, I don't think about their financial condition at all? It is
Oh, they would have. You thought January 6th was something. Shit. Let Obama say he don't give a fuck about the financial future and what you call it of American citizens. And the white folk would have stormed the Capitol. Look, January 6th would have happened early. It would have happened early, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. And see, we got Nicole. First time seeing this name. This is Nicola Jane McCourt or whatever. If I fucked it up, I fucked it up. I ain't even gonna hold you, man. I've been drinking a little bit. Or a lady. Wherever it may be. It said the rich are getting richer. People should stand together. We are not separate, but we are separate from the government. It's a fucking game to them, and they are the puppets. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. But that's the problem, man. You got so many people getting divided on so many different small things. Like, motherfucker, we will fight a motherfucker over a goddamn baseball team or a football team. Okay, lady, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm tilting my hat from the back because yeah, I got it in the back. But yeah, the message is correct and I think it's on point. We do need to combine and come together, all of us as American. Bitch, hold on, it's a fucking guy. I told you I'm gonna get this gnat, bro. I'm gonna get this fucking gnat, bro. This bitch keep flying in my face. But nah, we need to combine together and call these motherfuckers out, man. Hold these bitches accountable. But they got to separate. Read that book, Divide and Conquer. It's a really good book, man. It'll show you how to manipulate the fuck out of somebody if you really want to.
Truly unimaginable. This is one of those comments right up there with Trump saying, we can't have healthcare. We can't have Medicare we can't have Medicare. We can't have Social Security. We can't have childcare because we have to fight these wars. It's right up there with him just coming out and saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah, I don't give a shit about you and how much you're struggling to fill up the gas tank. I don't give a shit about the fact that the numbers don't add up at the end of the month. I don't give a shit about the fact that now you're taking a net pay cut because inflation is higher than wage gains. I'm not focused on you at all. It doesn't factor into my thinking whatsoever. For him to just say that.
I mean, I know people right now that literally got a pay raise. They're bragging to me like, "Hey, bro, man, they gave me $1, bro. I got $1 raise this year, man." And I'm like, me personally, when they told me that shit, y'all, this how I was in the back. I'm like, man, clap it up, bro. You got a raise here, yeah. And then inflation hit, and it's like, you better be happy you got that raise, because, bro, if you didn't get that raise, you already hurting right now. It's kind of like you lost fucking 25%. But if you didn't get that raise, bro, you'll be in the negative. You'll be down 125. So it's like, man, like people feeling that shit, man. And I'm in a weird space right now myself personally. And I'm like, man, I can't, it's going to suck when it hit me.
Outright is incredible. And I have to say, Sagar, too, like a different iteration of Trump would not have said this.
No.
I do think that it is a sign of his decline. He's an old man and he's not on it the way he was. And he doesn't have whatever level of verbal restraint and filter may have once briefly, somewhat partially existed is completely gone. And so now he will just say things like, yeah, Americans' financial condition, I don't care. I don't think about it whatsoever.
It is a good point. I mean, it's not just about losing step. And, I'm going to save some of this for the China thing, but it is very important. Donald Trump is on a plane, actually literally just landed as you and I are talking in Beijing. Aboard are the world's richest and most powerful oligarchs in the United States. It was put out, a Truth Social post as well, where Trump says, I want to open.
I want y'all to hear something funny, though, because y'all know they say China is like the #1 threat to America. They've been saying that for years. Democrats, Republicans, all of them been saying it for years. #1 threat. Our presidents will fly and get on a plane and go to their country, go in their territory, where clearly you're going to be outnumbered. You can bring how many of us, like Secret Security, or whatever they call it. I forget what the name of it. Secret Service. I'm sorry. I don't know how the hell I had a brain fart on that. But you can bring as many Secret Service agents you want, have a caravan of motherfuckers, whoever you want. You inside they fucking country. And China is supposed to be the biggest threat there. So you would think they would be capable. You'll go to their country. But you won't go to Iran and meet with them motherfuckers. Think about that. You'll go to China, who you claim is our biggest threat. Fly into their shit. Fly right there. They could bomb you out the goddamn sky. They can do whatever they want. They can assassinate you over there. You'll go over there and meet with them motherfuckers. But you say, You won't go to Iran and talk to them people and get this shit figured out. You'll send JD Vance to Pakistan and Syria and all this other shit, but you won't go. It's like, bro, who you think is a real threat to them? The motherfuckers they putting time and effort into. They just be on some real shit. And see, Cole said, get the governments out and let the people decide who sits in power, because these votes in governments, they are deciding who sits. No, he's too fucking rich to care. I agree with that. And exactly, I feel you on that. Yeah. That like it. Let them keep talking, man. But it's crazy. China our biggest threat, y'all. But we going over to Xi Jinping. We about to holler. We gonna hit that nigga with a wop, all that shit. What's up, Xi? Okay.
Up China. This is the person who ran in 2016 against the neoliberal order and for saying that we made such a great mistake with PNTR, permanent normal trade relations with China back in the 1990s. He blasted Hillary Clinton and others. NAFTA, remember the giant sucking sound that they continued to play over and over again to swing many of these Rust Belt type voters. Now he's actually recreating the policy on steroids. I mean, it's crazy to have NVIDIA and Elon and the news of nearly $1 trillion potential package investment. You're like, wow, so what are we even doing here? And you couple that with his comments here. Like you said, on a political level, this is just not something that any American president would ever say, including, look, you could deny or you can say, oh, we always knew this about Trump, maybe on a policy level. How can you deny that he wasn't an effective?
And that part right there, I love that comment. Because that's what it is. But the fucked up shit about it is when you really think about it, because everybody needs resources. Every society, whatever country, whatever region, whatever nation you come from, you need resources to survive. I can understand that. And I can understand you prioritizing that to continue your survival. That ain't what the United States doing. We like, have y'all ever seen Extreme Hoarders or like you know them extreme shows? I forget what the TLC used to play them all the time. Like America is an extreme hoarder. They want to have what they need, plus double that, plus whatever the future of it is coming out of that shit, plus the money that comes along with it. That's how the United States is. It ain't that we just want what we want just for survival. No, we want to take it all and hoard it and then use it as leverage against the rest of y'all. And I ain't saying, look, it ain't coming from the people that look like me, bro. It's coming from the people that look like my hand. It ain't people that look like me, y'all. It's the people that look like my hand. I'm just being honest with you. It ain't us. It ain't all of us doing that shit. And I've had experiences going overseas and talking to people about this shit. And I'm like, look, bro, I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't even fuck with these motherfuckers, bro. I'm just doing this shit right now so I can get a goddamn check and I can goddamn fucking get through a little bit of this part of my life. And also, hey, get a degree out of this bitch. I don't fuck with these motherfuckers. And I don't care if anybody ever hears that, like, I fuck with America. No, not really. Until America atones for its sins, bro, I live here. Yeah, I live here. I was born here. Great. That don't mean, look, I got a mama and I got a daddy. That don't mean I can't tell them that they wrong. That don't mean I can't tell them that they're wrong. I know some people operate a different type of way. I don't operate that way, man. You wrong. This country got a lot of shit it needs to atone for. But it's so hell-bent on never acknowledging nothing that it did wrong. And it's going to keep going down this perpetual path of destruction. Because that's what's going on right now. Like, I hope the white American citizens, the ones who used to be the human shield for all the bullshit, actually start waking up, because this shit's starting to affect y'all motherfuckers. And you were perfectly fine when it was like the Hispanics and the blacks and the Asians and all that. But now it's affecting y'all. When y'all going to step the fuck up and say something? Because you showed me that you got a little fight in you. When you went up there and stormed the Capitol over a lie, talking about a motherfucker say they stole it from me. Y'all had energy for that. How much energy you gonna have when you really find out how much they fucking you over? They've been in you over fucking you in the ass because you think they only doing it to them over there, y'all. Don't spoil it. They think they only doing it to them over there. They don't know they been getting fucked in the ass the whole fucking time. Like, we'll see. But yeah, you are right. They want everything. They do. They want it all. They want it all. Like, look. Winner takes all. It's the same. It's the same for Scotland. Look what England have done to us. Little shit, man. Look, and majority of the shit started in England. So let's keep it real, man. That's the father country. That's mother country. I'm sorry, mother country. Can't say father. Mother country.
politician, got himself elected to the White House twice. This is just not in the same realm. Is it cognitive decline? Is it just a sign that he really doesn't care anymore? You know, megalomania? I actually think it's the latter, maybe combined with the former. That's what characterizes all of these presidents. They remember Joe Biden and his obsession with NATO and with leaving like these legacies and these imprints on the globe.
Actually a great parallel.
It's really important. You know, we talked a lot about with Emily yesterday, is that when they get really old, what they become obsessed with is changing the globe in their image. And Trump especially wants to put his name, his face on the $100 bill. He wants to put his face on Mount Rushmore, like change the reflecting pool, change the White House. This is about leaving a mark as you depart this earth, except those of us actually have to keep living here for a while. And what's happening on this earth, especially this part of the globe for us, let's put this up here on the screen. Heather Long, she's a phenomenal reporter over at the Washington Post.
This part right here, y'all. I'm gonna get off screen, y'all, so y'all can see this shit. This is crazy. They about to actually give y'all some crazy ass stats, man. I want y'all to really listen to what the fuck they about to say. But look at the graph, man. Just pay attention to the graph right now, but really listen to what the fuck they gonna say. This was very interesting to see.
She always does the best job on inflation. So she points out here, inflation is now eating up all wage gains for the first time in 3 years, a painful for Americans and a true financial squeeze. So the CPI inflation in the past year was 3.8%. Wage gains in the past year were 3.6. If you combine that, not only with the wage data, but you take in mind some of the gas prices, which have already eaten up the vast majority of the tax refund, which anybody may have gotten as a result of the big, beautiful bill, you can really consider like you are watching a materially becoming poorer in the United States over the last 3 years. This is not like punditry. This is an empirical fact. And when we go to A4, this is another important part, is that Americans are now actually trying to work more hours to keep up as gas and food prices rise. Even so, these real average weekly earnings decreased in April because inflation ate all the wage gains and even the extra hours worked. So it's not completely gone yet in terms of the outpacing, but you are seeing that marginal, basically like making more hours for less pay. And what you're watching in net effect again is making people not only much more poor, but when you compound that with, we had an interesting discussion with Derek Thompson yesterday about the terrible 20s, basically about the 2020s, how even though people have gotten richer on paper, or at least in the aggregate, that it has been an immiserating, basically last 7 years, 2019 and onward. What we're watching here, I think, is more of that effect. And 7 years, 6 years, I guess, is a long time. Actually, if you consider March 2020 on forward for not only the lockdowns, but just of the sheer economic turmoil that I think that people find themselves in. There really is nothing probably more, I don't think there's nothing more dispiriting than being either in the same place or backwards than where you were 6 years before, and then still having to work more hours just to be able to afford not only even maybe even the same things at that time, but even the bare minimum or the stuff that you've already scaled back from food.
Let me hold up real quick. Let me say something.
That ain't right. That ain't right. It ain't right.
And that's why I sit around and I tell people, man, fuck that whole American dream type shit. When I hear some older folks, especially some Caucasian folks telling me, man, just work hard, the American dream, just work hard. You put in the work and it's going to be good for you. The motherfuckers letting you know right now, the way they done rigged this game, they rigged the economy. You could have been busting your ass and planting ahead, doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it. And now with everything that they've done in between, man, this shit don't mean nothing. Bitch, you worse off now. You've been doing it the right way and you're worse off. You're worse off. That will make a people snap. It'll make a people snap. But the funny thing that I think is gonna happen, and it's gonna be very revealing, when a lot of Americans actually like snap and actually try to rise up against that shit, bro, you're gonna be very profound with all the evil ass shit this country's been doing, all the dirty dealings that it has. Like, I ain't saying that because I can't speak too much on nothing, but a lot of people's eyes are gonna be open, and then we're gonna really see the real inside of other people. Some people are gonna justify the fucked up shit that we did to attain what we have right now, and then other people are gonna actually be against it. And I'm ready to see which side people are gonna fall on. I'm ready to see what side people gonna fall on, because this country, that's why I be laughing when they be talking about Look, I served in the Marines. I deployed multiple times. And motherfucker be talking about, hey, we're great and all this. I understand why people in other countries do not like America. I understand very well why they don't like them. You say exactly, our food has gotten dearer, but the quantity is the same. Yeah, you're right about that. Shrinkflation around this motherfucker.
And from gas and from everything else. It's just it's a bad situation. And the worst part is we know this is self-inflicted entirely by Trump. You know, never thought I would say I'll give Joe Biden a break, but he didn't invade Ukraine. You know, he also did not tell Hamas to go and to do October 7th. He had to deal with it. He dealt with both terribly. However, you know, Trump actually did just decide for no reason whatsoever to attack Iran because he thought it would be easy. And all of us are the ones who are now paying that price.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah, he getting his check. He getting his check, and he already got his backdoor secret deals and shit. Like, he ain't got to deal with this. And that's the problem when people like that was the craziest thing in the world to me. We had so many Americans that sat around and said, yeah, let me elect a billionaire to the White House. I ain't gonna bullshit with you. I'd rather elect the goddamn homeless person to the motherfucking White House than elect a billionaire. Because you know why? The homeless person actually got a real understanding of how it is to live out here in this world. This motherfucker ain't never probably even wiped his ass. I ain't gonna lie, he probably wiped his ass. He probably got to do that. But I'm saying, like, this motherfucker probably ain't cooked a meal for himself, ain't grocery shop, and none of this shit, like basic human things that we do all the time. He probably ain't did that shit in years, decades, if ever. If ever. And he's like, yeah, that's gonna be the guy to represent me. Man, I'd rather get the motherfucking homeless man off the goddamn street that be spitting that goddamn knowledge to be my motherfucking president than these motherfuckers. Like, on some real ass shit, man. America, like, us as people, we're really dumb.
And the tariffs too, which there may have been a logical scheme that you and I would have both supported, and Ryan and Emily too, we could all been on board with. That is not remotely what we saw. And quite to the contrary, you know, to your point about the complete reversal on any sort of China hawkishness, you know, he went from a lot of tough talk with regard to China and decoupling and let's bring industry home, et cetera, to, you know, this very different approach, which, look, frankly, at this point, I think given our relative weakness in the world, there is some accommodation with China that needs to be made. But that doesn't mean we don't still need to be concerned about having control over our own supply lines and having a
matter of fact, fuck that. Man, speaking of China, man, because like, she's speaking about China, man. You know that, like we said, the motherfucker took his folks over there. Like, Trump and his folks, they went over there to China, like, to meet with these dudes, man. It's like, man, we need to meet with y'all. We need to see what y'all talking about and shit. Well, I want y'all to see what the fuck happened with that. I'm gonna skip all that because
joining us now is Andy Brown. He is the Semaphore China.
Stop fucking goddamn talking, bitch. We gonna fucking I'm gonna show y'all what the hell happened, because motherfucker had a breakdown, man. We got inside people up in this bitch, man. We got people that were actually privy to these conversations and what the fuck was actually going on. Not the top secret shit, you know, the shit, you know, the shit that they let the media be around, the shit they want y'all to know about. You got people that's privy to that shit. And Breaking Point, that's what I told y'all, man. I'm giving a salute to the motherfuckers. Breaking Point been doing a good job this year, man, like really covering this content. And she said, people have to wake up and realize we are the people, and it is up. And it's us that put them in power. What would they do if they didn't have our votes? Any government stop everything, the whole world go, and also the world, the whole world at the same time stop everything and see what they do. I mean, I've been saying this many times. Look, for how hard it is to get it done at a company that only has 27 people, I don't know if we can get it done for the entire world. I couldn't even get fucking 26 other motherfuckers to say, look, bitch, we need a raise. Don't come in to work. These motherfuckers came in to work. Like, take a fucking stand, bitch. Like, goddamn, bite it for a day. Bite it for 2 days. Bite it for a week if you got to. Nope, coming in to work. You're not gonna get nothing changed, because if they know they gonna keep doing what the fuck they doing and y'all gonna keep coming, they gonna keep doing what the fuck they doing. There's no incentive to change. But people need to look, man, you gotta look. You gotta go through the storm. You gotta go through the storm to get to the clear weather. You got to. A lot of people just they too goddamn sensitive and soft that them bitches don't want to fucking go through no type of suffering, bitch. If you want to get anything, you got to get it out the mud, bitch. Ain't nobody most people don't want to be in the mud, getting their hands dirty, getting their clothes dirty. But if you want something real, you got to get it out the mud. You better get your ass down there and get to work. But a lot of Americans and a lot of people, period, ain't built for that type of shit. They not. They done built a lot of flaccid ass, weak ass, soft-minded, fucking insecure ass individuals. I don't like them motherfuckers. That's why the people call me harsh. They be like, "Oh, you so harsh, you so mean." It's like, yeah, kiss my ass, bitch. But either way, though, talking about China, y'all. We got to go back to China. We got to get back on topic. Talking about China. I want y'all to know, Trump went over there begging with these motherfuckers. He went over there begging, and he brought his boys with him, y'all. He brought the back street boys with him. If y'all don't believe me, they turn the point, tell you about it. I mean, not turn the point, fucking breaking point. Yeah, I'm about to say not turn the point. We don't fuck with turn the point. And Nicole said the whole work have to get on the same page before the earth kicks us the fuck out off of it. Yeah, shit. Yeah, that's coming soon too. Hopefully I'll be dead by that time. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hope I'll be gone.
Joining us now is Andy Brown. He is the Semaphore China columnist and expert who's going to join us here for the Trump G-Summit. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off, just as you and I are talking, President Trump on the ground in Beijing. Let's take a look at it. He's coming in the middle of the night. You can see him there in the grand arrival ceremony. The vice president, I believe, or is it premier of China? I forget. One of the vice somethings of China greeted him there on the red carpet, and he's got a full 2 days schedule ahead of him. The most interesting news, Andy, that's come out is on his way to Air Force One, President Trump actually put out a Truth Social post, which we will have here. I'm going to go ahead and read from some of it. CNBC incorrectly reported that the great Jensen Huang of NVIDIA was not invited to the incredible gathering of the world's businessmen. He is currently on Air Force One, unless I ask him to leave, which is highly unlikely. He lists the others. It is Jensen, Elon, Tim Apple, Larry Fink, Steven Schwartzman, Kelly Ortberg, Boeing, he lists in parentheses, Brian Sykes of Cargill, Jane Fraser of Citibank, Larry Culp, GE Aerospace, David Solomon, Goldman Sachs, Sanjay Malhotra, Micron, Cristiano Amon from Qualcomm, and many others, including Brett Ratner, the Hollywood director.
Now, you think any of them motherfuckers that he had on that plane give a goddamn fuck about me or you, or our well-being, our kids' futures, the possibility of us owning a home, being able to buy groceries, being able to put gas in our car? You think any of them motherfuckers, these billionaires that he brought on a fucking plane with him, they're going to negotiate some shit to try to get some shit right? You think they give a fuck about us? All right, let's keep going.
I have described this as some kind of 19th century trade mission, like where the Brits would come with the monarch and the oligarchs with the company.
The McCartney mission.
Exactly, the McCartney mission. And so you can Google that if you don't know what we're talking about. But what's your modal view of how this, I mean, it's extraordinary. You've never seen a president of the United States go with very few NSC members or any of that on the China desk, and instead have half of Air Force One be the richest, most powerful CEOs here in the United States.
Well, first of all, let's hope it's not the McCartney mission, because the end result of the McCartney mission was the Chinese emperor saying to Lord McCartney, we don't want anything that you're offering.
Right. Good point.
So it's hilarious, actually. It's memes all over Chinese social media today, showing Jensen in his leather jacket racing down the runway after Air Force One, grabbing hold of the wheels as it takes off. I mean, he's a rock star in China. It's not. I mean, of course, he was. First, there was a list. They put out a list. He wasn't on the list. I can kind of see why a Jameson Greer at USTR might not want him in the party. I mean, if you look at the composition, of the companies in that delegation, you've got, start off with the finance, the Wall Street guys, right?
Goldman Citi, right?
Goldman Citi, Jane Fraser. Yeah. These are people that basically want to look after Chinese money, look after Chinese money inside China, look after Chinese money when it leaves China for investment, travel, credit card companies. They're not controversial. They're already embedded into China and really want to do more business there. You've got the agricultural people, right? So the Cargills of this world that is selling soya beans and beef to China.
Right.
unambiguously good for the U.S. economy, good for farmers, must be there. Then you get into technology. Some parts of technology are less problematic than others. So, Tim Apple, as he's called, making his iPhones in China, that's okay. There's a lot of value here in the United States on the design side, on the marketing side, and so on. Elon Musk is there. He's making EVs more problematic because actually he was the flywheel for the entire Chinese EV industry, but he's not selling them back to the United States. That's okay, 100% tariffs. Then you get into semiconductors, okay? That is the most problematic, most troublesome area of US-China. That is where these two superpowers compete. It's all about AI. AI is all about compute. Compute comes from chips. It's hard to imagine anything coming out on the chip side that won't be controversial. Let's say that Xi Jinping, when he meets with Trump, says, "Okay, we'll take NVIDIA chips." Trump has already offered him.
Yeah, he has. Right.
He wants a cut, right? 25% of anything Jensen sells in China. But let's say they do a deal. Comes back to the U.S., hail of criticism. You've just given it all away, and actually quite understandable. If, on the other hand, they don't do a deal, then this is going to overshadow the trip. Oh, Xi Jinping rejects some deal. One way or another. It's very difficult. Plus, this is so complicated. There's nothing that these two leaders are going to sort out over chips and NVIDIA sitting around the table.
In 2 days,
right? In 2 days, right? I mean, you can't do that over a cup of tea at the Great Hall of the People. But what you can do over a cup of tea is make an agreement on what they call the 3 Bs: Boeing, beef, and beans, right?
So what I'm really interested in is, let's put E3 up here on the screen. And your colleague, Ben Smith, I was texting him this morning. I think he wrote one of the most prescient columns on China I've seen in quite a long time. I'm curious for your own view, where he said, that Trump is poised to end the Washington decade of the China hawks. And so when I see Trump, and first of all, in that Truth Social post, there was another word that he used: open up. Right? Open up China. This is the president who ran against PNTR, permanent normal relations with China. This is the president who wanted to reform our trading relationship with China. This time around, you have those oligarchs who are all on board Air Force One. You just laid out very, eloquently all the various business interests. But this is one which is shaping up for potential, what Bloomberg reports here, some sort of $1 trillion investment.
No, he ran on taking business away from China and us doing it in America. And now he done got on a fucking plane with some of the richest billionaires that live in America, that function in America, to go over to China and be like, "Hey, China, let us do business over here." I don't know if other people ain't following that shit, but that's what that's what he's doing. He got on a plane with the richest goddamn motherfuckers in America who run these companies and went over to China and said, "Open up China, let us do business over here." But the motherfucker ran on saying he's cutting China off and we're going to manufacture in America. For all the people that voted for him, I just hope y'all notice that.
Deal. And if we look into Trump's psychology, this is something he needs probably more desperately now than ever, considering where the economy is. He did this with Japan. He did this with Korea. He did this with the European Union. He needs the headline: China agrees $1 trillion investment. So you mentioned potential deals on semiconductors. Another one I'm tracking closely is autos. That's another reason I think Elon might be there. Some sort of licensing technology scheme. But I'm curious, first of all, from that high level view of this is the literal opposite of what a lot of people thought was going to happen back in 2006.
Well, it's a literal opposite of what some of the people on Air Force
you're right.
have been saying their entire careers.
Yes.
Not least Marco Rubio.
Yeah, you're right.
The Secretary of State, who was a China hawk until he joins the Trump administration. It is amazing, right? So you've got to remember, Trump is the guy who really changed the game with China.
Yes.
So before Trump, all the way back to Nixon, you have presidents who've gone after engagement, right? We want to make the Chinese look more like us commercially. We want them to play by the rules of the game, the rules that the United States set after World War II, integrate them into the global system. He broke that consensus in his first term. He came in, They're raping us, they're pillaging us, they're making fun of us, they're cheating, lying, and so on. It was China, 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 right? So he puts in place a whole system of tariffs, export controls, sanctions against Chinese companies. He tries to kill Huawei, the avatar of China's technology ambitions. Doesn't work. And then
thank the Lord, and hopefully one day they open up. Like, y'all, I know there's so many people out here that love iPhones. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know who copying who, but I just know one do it better. Huawei and Apple are pretty much the exact same fucking company in a sense. But Huawei just technology is way better. Y'all got them new iPhones that just came out with that big ass fucking rectangle on the back and shit, and then you got that empty space. Go get the Huawei phone. It's got a screen on the back of it. It's got a screen on the back of that bitch. Apple about to come out with a folding phone. Huawei already got theirs out right now. Exact same design. Look better than the bitch. I'm be honest with you. Look better. Huawei doing better. But you know, he tried to kill that shit. Didn't work. Like, they kind of booming now. They got their own operating system. Like, they got their own Google Play Store. It's not Google Play Store, obviously, because it's Chinese. But they got their own shit, man. You just motivated these motherfuckers to build up their own infrastructure. Trump kind of fucked it up, man. We missing out. We missing out on BYD, electric vehicles. Like, dude, everybody just want to get a Tesla. And then they got to deal with this bullshit from Ford, Chevy, and all these other motherfuckers, Audi, and all them motherfuckers want to make EVs. Bruh, BYD is killing the game over there in China right now. You can get them hosts for cheaper, and they got better range. They better at this technology. Trump tried to kill it. It's not working.
Go from bad to worse at the end of his administration. Do you remember during COVID, blame it on China? It was the lab
China
leak,
virus,
China virus, the Kung flu, the Kung flu as he calls it. And so, you know, he comes into his second term, and he starts reassembling that sort of group of China hawks within the National Security Council. The people with a similar mindset to the people that he'd gathered in his first administration. And he does this U-turn, and he gets rid of them all. He gets rid of all the China hawks, marginalizes the National Security Council. And then since then, he's just worked incredibly hard, doing everything he can to do a deal with China, which includes, as we just mentioned, saying, okay, you can have our most advanced or some of our very advanced chips national security document. They bring that to him. It's all written out, boilerplate about how China is a threat, major competitive adversary, and so on. And Trump looks at this and he says, no, that's not what I wanted. Or blue pencils, all this. Comes back to his desk, and there's all kinds of language about how we want, an honorable peace. I think Hegseth talks about everlasting peace. With China. So it's all flipped. People say he is the most China-friendly member of his own administration.
I think it's true.
That's true.
And I think what it reflects is this business instinct, especially now, to dig himself out of the hole that he created, not just with tariffs, now the Iran war. I mean, you need something. I'm curious for your view. How do the Chinese view it? Because this is now, remember, this summit has been postponed as a result of the Iran war. I don't think America's ever been strategically, this is my opinion, I don't think we've ever been strategically weaker than after this conflict, not only in terms of the standoff munitions that have all been expended, but just the sheer inability of the United States Navy to even open the Strait of Hormuz. If you're Xi Jinping in the PLA, you're watching this with glee. And so at a moment in a summit like this, what is China looking at? So I'd read some stories. I see China trying to, they're warning Meta of an acquisition. They're telling their companies, the teapot refineries, they're saying, hey, yeah, we're not listening to this U.S. sanctions nonsense. All of these are signals. So what is Xi's objective in a summit like this?
Xi's number 1, 2, and 3 objective is Taiwan. So he thinks that he has leverage because, as you said,
the United States gonna fucking they gonna feel it for real. The motherfucker get Taiwan. And if y'all don't know, Taiwan TSMC, that's one of the number 1 chip makers. They specialize. And if China can get that, United States, I don't know what to tell you. Because they already got the rare earth metals. Like, y'all need magnets and shit. They got that. They got that shit on lock, bro. They get the chips too. Bro, y'all tripping, bro. Y'all gonna be tripping. Y'all, we gonna be over here feeling some type of way, and it's pretty much that the United States would have taught the game, the evil game, to these motherfuckers, and these other motherfuckers, goddamn, just capitalizing on it. They learned from the master, Mr. Miyagi. Thank you. Now we gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna do it better than what you did, or worse, depending on how you look at it.
Say,
well, he does.
Coming in,
yeah.
he does, yeah. Right? That the latest peace agreement proposal has collapsed in Iran. Huge mess. Strait of Hormuz more or less closed. Big pressure on the U.S. economy. We just saw the inflation numbers out. Right. Prices going up. Real threat in the midterms. She sees all this, so he sees that as leverage to get concessions on Taiwan. So he wants that.
Yeah.
He wants he wants tariff scale back. He wants U.S. technology. He wants Chinese companies off these blacklist, Pentagon blacklist. He wants more access to U.S. technology, but Taiwan.
And listen to what we're talking about right now, because y'all, we got the shit going on in Iran, and we talking about China right now. If Trump's actions was to benefit the United States, just so y'all know, Iran gonna get a nuclear weapon. With what he's done, there's no other way around it. Like, they have no other recourse besides, like, nah, bro, we're going to get one to make sure you don't bring your bitch ass back over here. He's made the situation so much worse that they're going to get it. Same thing with China. China already got their nuke. They already got their nuke. They've been good. They've been good in the game. But everything that you were trying to cripple them on when it comes to economics with China, like, bro, you're pretty much giving it to them in a handbasket, because what you're doing over here is so fucked up. They're like, bro, they got leverage now over you. It's like, you can't sit here big, tall, and like poke your chest out in front of us when we know you over here struggling, bro. You struggling. So you can keep pump faking all you want. He gonna end up having to give it up, especially while he's trying to have talks with him. You shouldn't even be trying to talk to him right now. I'll be honest with you. That's the dumbest thing in the world. You over here struggling with Iran, bro. You can't even beat this motherfucking country. Bro, you might not want to go over there and try to negotiate no deal and then try to hold it up with power. Oh, we're strong. We're America. Bitch, you struggling against these motherfuckers in the Middle East, nigga. Like, that's how I look at it. Your economy's fucked up right now. You ain't really got no ground to be standing on right now. But this good super dummy thinks that he can just go in there and talk, and somehow they gonna listen to him. He not looking good right now, bro. It's not looking good for us right now, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not looking good.
One is number one.
Interesting.
Number one ask.
So whenever we say Taiwan, he wants what, an end to the Taiwan consensus? So, because I've seen some senators sending Trump letters, hey, you can't just, stop the Taiwan. The Taiwan's Relations Act is law. Trump clearly, I think he's reported in 20 saying something like, well, there's not a fucking thing we can do about it.
Are we allowed to say that on a podcast?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Don't worry.
Right,
listen, there's no cable, no FCC. You can say whatever you want. In terms of Trump's mindset, I don't think he particularly cares at this point. I think he's all about business. In the age of Iran, there actually is literally not a fucking thing you can do about it. So I'm curious, like, from Trump's and the defense perspective, like, what, because usually a China and a U.S. summit is all about defense.
That's really why I'm really surprised that China ain't took Taiwan yet. Maybe they trying to wait it out and just let the United States expand themselves, overexhaust themselves in other different conflicts, and then goddamn take it. And I think that's what's possibly about to come up. But yeah, what the fuck can the United States really do? Like, y'all gonna go to war with China because China took Taiwan? Nigga, y'all just left Venezuela. Now y'all in Iran, and then you warn Cuba that you're on the way. It's like who the fuck are y'all to say anything that China would take in the country? And that's how China gonna be looking at it. It's like, bitch, really? In the world stage, you gonna say something to us after what you've been doing? He ain't really got no ground to stand on, y'all. We ain't really got no ground to stand on, and we're all gonna be represented by that. Us as Americans, we're gonna be represented by the actions of these few people at the top that we don't agree with, or some of y'all might agree with them. Some people over there, Lord and Savior Trump, everything you do is right. Y'all motherfuckers, y'all can just go over there with your weird ass. But majority of us don't give a fuck about none of that shit that you talking about. We ain't on board with that.
Trade would be secondary. Taiwan is number one for the Chinese. Here, it seems Trump is a lot more desperate to get some sort of business accommodation than anything having to do with defense, despite the fact that Hegseth is there on the trip.
Right. So the easiest way to get a business deal with Xi is to give something away on Taiwan, right?
Right.
I don't think there is that that the Chinese expect that Trump is going to sit there ripping up the Taiwan relation. Now, you can't do it anyway because it's an act of Congress. He's not going to give away Taiwan, right? He is not he's not going to go down in history as the president who, handed Taiwan over to authoritarian China. That's not going to happen. And that's not what the Chinese are expecting. I think what they want out of him is a little tweak in the language. So she's going to sit down with him and he's going to explain the problem. He's just had, by the way, the head of the Kuomintang, the opposition.
I saw that
coming over to China.
Yeah,
amazing, right? So he thinks he's got her in his back pocket, and to an extent, he has. She's already parroting Chinese talking points, right? So that gives him some hope that there's a resolution to his Taiwan problem. So he wants Trump to tweak the language, right? So he wants Trump to say things like, and it doesn't actually even have to write it down. He could just say this to Xi, we do not support, or we are opposed to Taiwan independence, or we think unification of Taiwan with the mainland is a good idea. Right. Small concession, and you might argue not a big deal. It goes down like a seismic shock in Taiwan because what it says to the people of Taiwan is, we're on the table, right?
Y'all ain't got no protection, bitch. That's what it's gonna say.
We're a negotiating chip, and that is exactly what Xi Jinping wants. He wants to get inside Taiwanese heads. He wants to demoralize them. He wants to give them the sense that they don't own their future, that their future is going to be negotiated between the United States and China over their heads.
Yes.
And then they run up the white flag. The signal that then sends to the rest of the region is, my God, if he's going to put Taiwan on the table, what about us?
Korea, right.
The Japanese, that's I've been writing about this. The Japanese, the Koreans, they all have big problems with China. Now, look, they all trade with China, and don't get me wrong, a lot, right? They want U.S.-China relations broadly to be okay, but they don't want it to be so okay that they form this kind of G2 condominium, lord it over the whole world, and sell out their interests. China right now has sanctions on Japan. 40 Japanese companies. It's intimidating. It's intimidating Japan on around these disputed islands, right? Same with South Korea. So that is what Asia Pacific countries are looking at. What is he going to give away to get his precious trade deals?
That's my last question.
And that's what it's going to come down to, yo. That's what it's going to come down to, And I know a lot of people don't know nothing about none of this shit. They don't care about none of this shit. They don't, for real, man, you got your own life. You got to live, man. You got a family you probably got to take care of. You ain't really trying to, stay engaged with this shit that we talking about tonight. But that's why we doing the show tonight, though. Just in case you didn't know. Now you know. Now you know. Because this motherfucker, he over here playing games. And it's crazy that we as the United States can sit back and tell another country that you can't take that country, you can't invade on them, you can't do this and do that, when we're actively doing it ourselves. Because I don't know why people keep glossing over the fact that we went into another country and kidnapped the president and his wife. We literally just did that. And for all the people that talk about they're drug smuggling, why the fuck, if that's the case, why didn't your government ever provide any information? Any fucking facts and data to show that was the case, besides just saying it? No, we kidnapped the fucking president. We don't even know where Maduro is right now, y'all. We know he in U.S. custody, but we don't even know where Maduro is right now. And if it was about drugs, then ask yourself, why did Trump pardon the goddamn, I don't know if he's the Cuban, the Ecuadorian, whatever president that transported tons of goddamn fucking drugs to America? Why you pardon that motherfucker? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It makes no sense, y'all. It makes no fucking sense at all. But, we here to cover it. I got one more for you, man. Because we got to talk about these midterms, y'all. The midterms coming up. And I want them to drop a little bit of this goddamn information on you, just in case you didn't know. I just want you to know what's going on. I'm not trying to shape how y'all think about shit and point you in the direction that I want you to go, man. I just want you to know the information. You form your own opinion after the fact. It is what it is. But either way, though, back to breaking point, y'all. Let's see what they talking about.
So we have some new fairly bombshell reporting from Atlas Intel, which, if I'm not mistaken, Sagar, is the most accurate pollster both in 2020 and in 2024. So let's go ahead and put this piece up on the screen here with regard to the midterms. So this is what they call the generic ballot. They say just like, okay, Democrat versus Republican, not putting specific candidates in. Who do you prefer? The Democrats are winning here by 14.5 points on the generic ballot for the House. That is a shocking margin. You know, all the concerns, justified concerns about the way maps are being redrawn, et cetera. Like, you are not, if Democrats are winning the national vote by something approaching 14 points, there is no amount of map changes, there is no amount of ice at the polls that is going to truly be too big to rig in terms of taking control of the House. And poll after poll shows it's not that people love the Democrats. The Democrats have a lot of work to do to reclaim any sort of decent brand with the American people. It's just that they are utterly disgusted with the Republicans, with Donald Trump specifically. And Sagar, it does have some credibility given the fact not only Atlas's track record, but given what we've seen in all of these special elections. 15 points is the average, roughly the average shift toward Democrats that we've seen in all of these seats. So, that gives it some credibility. Again, it's an outlier. I want to make that clear, but it does give those numbers some credibility, given that when people have actually gone and voted, this is roughly what we have seen.
Let's start with that. So remember, special election is the most predictive of midterms. It is by far going back many, many years for what's actually going to happen. Then we can start to look at some of the polls and their past track record. Now, you're absolutely right. 2022 and 2024, Atlas Intel was A+, was within 2.2 points of the general 2024 electorate. It was the most accurate of that year. However, what we also learned is that Iowa Seltzer poll, traditional track record, can be wrong. So let's put all those caveats. But I think whenever you combine the two things, you could say a general trend in this direction, unless it's some sort of Seltzer-esque, crazy misfire. But, when I take a look actually at the issue by issue, that's where I really start to see huge problems for the Republicans. Let's put D2 up there on the screen from Atlas. Now lead on every major issue. Trump's two strongest areas are D+9 and D+7. This is from immigration and for defense. But at the very, very top, this is usual: environment and education and healthcare. Democrats usually are there. But this is where it gets.
See this goddamn graph? Now look at this graph right now. This is from the Atlas, y'all. Y'all see it's from the Atlas, man. And it's like on different topics, like environment, who you trust more, pretty much. Democrat, Republican. Obviously, Democrats are in the blue, Republicans are in the red. Environment, they trust Democrats. Education, trust Democrats. Healthcare, trust Democrats. Economic inequality, Democrats. Employment, job market, Democrats. Inflation, cost of living, Democrats. Democracy, Democrats. Motherfucking policy and tariffs, Democrats. Foreign policy, Democrats. Immigration, Democrats. Taxes, Democrats. Defense, Democrats. And the only one where you kind of run into where it's still more for the Democrats because it's 47, but I'm not going to give it to them because they ain't getting at least 50. It's 47 to 44 with a 9 independent type group. Motherfuckers about to start panicking with this midterms, y'all. That's why they changing all these maps right now. Y'all know why they repealed that they goddamn bill and shit. They think erasing the black vote is gonna make them win everything. They trying their best, y'all, to win an election, bro. They always say that the other people are cheating. Like literally, bro, y'all are actively doing it in broad goddamn daylight, trying to win an election before an election. They even canceled one election already. That's crazy.
Interesting. Employment and job market and inflation and cost of living. Those are two areas for very traditional Republican strongholds. You have +15, +17 Democratic preference. Trade policy and tariffs. You also have another shift towards the Democrats at +13. Foreign policy, immigration, taxes, even you have a +8. Crime at +3 for Dems. So things are absolutely insane when Dems are getting +3 whenever it comes to crime. Maybe a lot of people are taking all these headlines about these white collar pardons. Honestly wouldn't be surprised to me.
True.
If it were, I'm being dead serious in terms of how they're thinking.
Honestly, the lowest number of white collar prosecutions in history happening right now under the Trump regime.
And there has been a massive decline in the murder rate. So if you put those two things together, you're not as worried about violence. Then you also have this white collar prosecution. It wouldn't shock me. But I think what it comes down to is a rejection at the mass level, very similar to how the public reacted after Obama was president for a year. There are a lot of reasons largely for that, but it culminated in that huge wipeout, the shellacking of 2000.
Yeah, America didn't like having a black president. They elected him and then felt bad the very next day. Yeah, the vast majority of white Americans felt bad the very next day. Yeah, it's a fallout.
2010. And I think, well, first of all, the problem with this is it all presumes that Trump cares at all about their chances, which it just doesn't seem like they care. Like anybody who cares about their midterm election chances is not saying things which we led our show about. I don't care or think about Americans' financial situation at all, right? So this is where I'm like, I genuinely think that they have given up entirely on the domestic front, like completely. This is the only thing that can explain the sheer obsession with Venezuela, 51st state, the reflecting pool, the ballroom, Iran. That's all they really have any control over. The rest of the party has a political future. He doesn't care. He only cares about the future, but he's going to drag it down with him, because the one last thing that we have to be clear on with the Republicans is, while many people are fleeing the Republican Party, in particular, many of these independent or swing voters, not just swing, non-identified Trump voters, the actual Republican base is all in for Trump. I mean, do you remember very recently, these Indiana Senate races that were happening, where some of these Indiana Republicans crossed Trump? They all lost, okay? So the actual MAGA people, they're still all in. And that's just a caveat that I want to make very clear. Like,
and that's the crazy part. These motherfuckers, goddamn grocery prices going up, the eggs are higher, the gas is higher. Like, shit, the possibility of their kids possibly even owning a home is pretty much non-existent. Like, all these bad things are happening while this motherfucker's in office, and you can see the correlation where it came from him to now it's affecting you. And these motherfuckers are still lock hard. We got some fucking dummies in this country, y'all. We got some dummies. They'll let the motherfuckers steal their wallet, hold them up at gunpoint, steal their wallet, and then call them later in 5 minutes and ask them, do they need to borrow $5? That's them type of dummies. That's them. That's the type of people we got in this country.
Can you really earn a degree?
Got a commercial. Damn, it's been a while since we had a commercial.
Without paying anything. If you qualify,
Trump is still the chief of the declining. In fact, it might be more powerful, because at this point, if you're still all in for Trump, there's literally nothing he can do, including shooting someone on Fifth Avenue, for which they will decline. And so that actually leaves a very good place, I think, for the Democratic Party. I would compare it, I'm trying to think, maybe the 1970s, where like McGovern, this is a good example. So the 1970s, the entire, post Watergate Democratic Party was having a tough time, especially after Jimmy Carter, kind of figuring out like what we're going to do. And what they did is it opened up this huge space for, remember the Reagan Democrat? That was like a thing back in the 1980s. Really what it was an inverse rejection of kind of the embrace of the new left and this identitarian, this Democratic Party, which had no real identity. There was a very hardcore base of people who supported it, but not enough to create like a majority coalition, which is really what all these people decided to do when they voted for Reagan, even if some of them even didn't even agree with their policy. I would compare it now to the other. So you have a very, very small slice of the country, which is still very much all in and believing, but it leaves all of this open negative polarization space, which is the defining politics of our era, towards the Democratic Party. They not like them, but they don't like the Republicans at all. It kind of very similar to the 2024 dynamic. A lot of voters hated Biden. They didn't love Trump. They didn't like a lot of things about him. He still had a negative approval rating. We're still willing to vote for him in the end.
Yeah. I mean, you could also potentially compare it to, depending on how bad things get here with the Iran war and a possible global depression, you could also compare it with Herbert Hoover, you know, and
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
But that's a possibility,
it
you
is.
know, I mean, but that requires having that FDR-like figure who can have a really broad appeal, centered around, you know, a sort of not only national patriotism, but also a broadly shared prosperity was really the cornerstone of what he offered, obviously, with.
And fuck all that national patriotism and shit. Yeah, like y'all. I noticed that a lot of white people get caught up in it, and I've seen some black people get caught up in it. I see the Asians try to do it a little bit, and I've seen some Hispanics try to do it a little bit. Fuck all that dumbass shit, man. Why the fuck you gonna have patriotism for a country that literally have you living in conditions that they do? They're going out in the world and raping and pillaging the rest of the world, and they still got you over here struggling. Now, I understand that you living better than all the other motherfuckers in the rest of the world, majority of the rest of the world. There's other places in the world where people living better than you. But I'm like, man, they taking all this money. They taking all your money to go out here and pillage and conquer motherfuckers, set up coups, do all these coup d'etats, nigga, you know what I'm saying? And what are you getting for it? You getting taxed more? Like, you see a certain group of people in this country getting richer, but you ain't part of that group. I don't know how you support that shit.
In the context that there's, of
So
course,
at least give me a
not
cut.
completely shared by Black Americans, certainly Japanese, internment can't, all the caveats notwithstanding, and very significant caveats at that. But, you know, if you had that type of figure, I do think there's a possibility for that sort of coalition coming together. We get very used to this very narrow partisan victories when you have both politicians basically sort of playing to the culture wars and not really promising significant economic change in a way that's credible. And that part, the way that's credible, is the most significant part, because one of the biggest questions is whether you can get Americans to really believe in a big national project of any sort, given the level of humiliation and decline that we're suffering right now. But in any case, all of this, so you've got Republicans.
Oh yeah, you can definitely get them. You can definitely get them, baby. Look, you still got dummies that support Trump, so you can get them to believe in Trump, motherfucker. You can definitely get them to believe in we could possibly turn this shit around, shit. Because that's a dead end road right there with that motherfucker. They clenched to his goddamn pockets. They clenched to his pockets, bro. They holding on, getting their legs dragged on the ground. Like shit, we can definitely turn this shit around, but it's like it's gonna be hard, but it's a whole lot easier than doing what the fuck they doing, because they be going down the dead end. And that road end in a second, and they still holding on.
Falling apart in terms of the national standing. Certainly the Trump coalition has broken down. His hardest core supporters are always going to be there with him, but it is a minority of somewhere around a third of the population. That is obviously not nearly enough to win House elections, when, even maintain control of the Senate, let alone hold on to the presidency in 2028. This poll from Atlas Intel was also very interesting on the Democratic side, and very different from what we've seen on other Democratic primary 2028, trial runs. So let's put this up on the screen. This is the first one that we've seen AOC leading the field with 26% of the vote. Next in line, you've got Pete at 22, Gavin at 21, Kamala down at 13, and then everybody else is pretty far below that. Andy Beshear 4, Cory Booker 4, none of the above 3, Shapiro 2, Whitmer 1, Walz 1, Khanna 1, Rahm Emanuel 0.6, and Wes Moore 0.4. So look, again, it's an outlier, but it does add an interesting data point. AOC is very much seen.
And see, that's going to be the problem for the Democrats. Like, if these are the people that you're going to put up the goddamn run for president, I don't know who the people on the right gonna put up. They probably try to put JD Vance up, but they're gonna have some other people that try to fight for that spot too. I'm like, bro, like I'm not knocking like AOC, like she's straight, but she ain't, like, she got too much criticism on top of her head. Pete, we not like I'm gonna be honest with you, Pete. If they do elect a gay person, it would be your ass, because it ain't they ain't really trying to elect no black gay person, but they might put you up there. Gavin Newsom looked like a goddamn snake oil salesman. I'm gonna be honest with you. Kamala probably got the best chance out of all of them on some real ass shit, because like she still got the standing ground of saying like what she predicted that the Trump administration was gonna do. They did do it, and like she just caught a lot of heat. And I ain't gonna lie, I gave her some too. But I'm like, she probably got the best chance out of the rest of these. Cory Booker, fucking Shapiro, and all these. Like, shit, she didn't say that about Raphael Warnock down at the bottom. That nigga 0-0. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I would say Kamala get up there, man. Look, I don't get the first female president. Cause like, look, I think America made a mistake the first time when it came to this shit right here. But like, man, look, ain't that fuck the AOC, Pete and shit and Gavin. Like, bro, y'all just gonna get the fuck up out of here, bro. Get out the line, bro. Get out the line, bro. Y'all slowing up the line, bro. Get out the way.
As the heir to Bernie Sanders. She is seen as the vanguard of the left of the party, and the sort of inheritor of that legacy. What we've seen in primary contests around the country, and actually if we can jump forward and put Abdul's numbers up here on the screen here, D5, is that the energy in the Democratic Party is very much with the left of the party in a way that it truly, in our lifetimes, has never been, including during the times when Bernie Sanders was running, where people liked Bernie, but they were worried, oh, is he electable? I don't know. And there was kind of a limit to how far people were willing to go in terms of voting for him or voting for candidates who styled themselves in his image. That seems to be changing. We now have in the Michigan Senate race, Abdul El-Sayed is really surging here. We've got a new poll that has him emerging as the race's clear frontrunner, 28% support, ahead of Haley Stevens at 18 and State Senator Mallory McMorrow at 17%. So they're basically in a tie for second. And this is really stunning. They have him getting 80% of the support of voters between the ages of 18 and 44. So Gen Z and millennials, 80% support. Stevens is getting 4% and McMorrow is getting 3%. So massive, massive generational divide.
And we needed somebody like Bernie, so let it keep going. You got somebody that resembles the character of Bernie Sanders and has the same mindset and thought process for actually doing something for the American people. We need somebody like that. I'm gonna be honest with you though, they probably gonna put a bullet in his head. If the motherfuckers start succeeding and actually push, they gonna do it. They gonna do it because they don't want to see me and you doing good. They want to see themselves doing good. Just throwing that out there for you. I'm sorry to be fucking harsh and critical, but it is what it is.
Of this race, we can also look in terms of that left energy dominating the base of the party. Certainly Graham Plattner coming out of nowhere, having never run for anything before, and easily dispatching with the sitting governor of Maine, who was backed by the establishment of the Democratic Party. So, you know, this poll showing AOC in the lead fits with that trend of voters in the base of the party looking around and going, okay, well, who is aligned with that Sanders wing? Who is going to stand up to corporate interests? Who is going to be different? And, you know, I've got my concerns about AOC that I've voiced on this show previously, but in terms of voter perception of who she is and what her branding is, I think it's very consistent with the energy that we've seen behind Abdul El-Sayed and Graham Plattner.
It is interesting. I don't know. I just don't see her coming out of a primary. I don't. She's not a good debater. She folded in Munich. She doesn't really, I don't know. What was the analogy you made about her? She always seems like she's studying for.
Like, I don't see her either. Like, they talking about AOC. I don't even understand how the hell she at the top of the ticket. Like, I don't see it either, bro. Like, look, I just don't see it.
The test and looking for the right answer as opposed to having an answer that she already has. That's really important for a politician. A lot of it right now is the idea of AOC as opposed to the politician, right?
Yeah,
and I agree with that. You can't get through a primary through something like that, especially if you're going to be challenged. You know, the one thing that I think this whole thing presumes is that Kamala's not going to run again, which I am not putting off the table. She very clearly does.
They have her in there, and she's led most of the polls. Yeah. She has led for Democratic primary trial runs. That's why this one is different. Right. But it had her at 13%.
Y'all see what I'm talking about, man? They see what I see, man. Look, that's the best option for the Dems. Like, out of all the people that's on that list, she really is the best option. People know her. They know her. And maybe they might have a second thought about her after what we just seen, what happened with this motherfucker, this orange fucking pussy neck motherfucker. Because he got a pussy neck. I don't care what nobody say. Trump got a pussy neck. Y'all look at pictures of that motherfucker. That nigga neck be sitting look like it's just ready to get poked. It's like, I'm sorry. YouTube, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I don't even know if I can get in trouble for that. Either way, though, man, let's keep going, man. I don't know if I can get in trouble for that.
So still, you know, garnering some support. But, you know, I'm not that concerned for the same reason you're saying, like, you don't think AOC can come through a primary. I mean, I think Kamala has proven herself to not hold up well under public scrutiny. Yeah. So, you know, I think even though she'll be able to come out and say, look, I warned you that I said this about Trump and I was right. Like, I warned you. I tried to tell you. And there you go. There continues.
Hey, man, I think motherfuckers reading my mind, bro, because I promise y'all I did not watch this motherfucking shit. But they saying the same shit I'm saying.
To be a lot of warm feelings towards her, you know, in certain parts of the party. But I'm not personally that concerned with that translating into a Kamala Harris primary.
The last thing I'll flag,
because I don't think she'll hold up to scrutiny.
Last thing I'll flag, because we have our guest standing by, is the primary calendar here matters so much. It matters so much how that primary calendar is going to look like. And as far as I know, you can tell me, I don't think that it's yet set in stone. But if they go the traditional route, or at least the Biden route, where they wanted South Carolina and first, and without any of the Rust Belt or Nevada, any of these places where Bernie did really well, remember, it can significantly skew the way things go. And I wouldn't put it past the DNC after what they've pulled with this Biden autopsy and everything that they've done. And I mean, remember, before what's her name, Mills dropped out against Plattner, the Schumer and them were going all in for them. So I would not put it past them whatsoever to nominate or to rig the scales, rig the system in favor of a Gavin or Kamala if it were somebody like that. So that's my last flag.
Yeah, they rigged it for Hillary, so it wouldn't be too far outside of the norm
for people, because it's so hard to overcome.
They're going to try. I just think it's going to be difficult to do what they did in the past, because just like with the Mills race, people are like, oh, you're Schumer's candidate. That means I'm definitely not voting for you. And the ability to manufacture consent with the media outlets is really severely degraded too by the rise of independent media and also by the degradation of trust in mainstream liberal outlets.
Yeah, so good point. All right. I've got our guest standing by.
And that's why we need to, I want more people to be involved and more informed about what's actually going on when it comes to these politics, man. Like, I will refer. Like, I don't refer a lot of channels to, like, for people to go look at and shit. But I'm like, if you want to, like, get up to date with what's going on with politics, I actually will refer them. Now, if they come out and they be, like, on some shit later on or whatever, some controversy come out and shit, look, I just got to hold that ill. But as of right now, like, look, I fuck with Breaking Point. I like the information. I like the information that they distill down And I'll go check. I double check these motherfuckers a lot of times. So like, man, they've been hitting. They've been hitting. I like the fact check. I don't understand why other people don't. But like, let these people say some shit, man. Look, I got my phone right here, bro. I got this phone. I got my other phone right there. Like, I can double check. I got this whole computer and shit. I'm gonna double check and see if you telling me some bullshit or you just trying to really give me some good information. But they've been hitting ever since, especially this presidency thing kicked off. They've been hitting. Them niggas ain't been missing, and I respect them for it. So shout out to y'all over there at Breaking Point. Y'all go check them out, man. On some real shit, go check them out. On some real ass shit, go check them out. But look, we did what we had to do, man. I had another video that I was gonna do was gonna be messy and like relationship and all that shit. But I'm like, look, we can do that tomorrow. So y'all make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We're gonna do it over there. But y'all definitely need to make sure y'all sub up to all the channels, mainly the Speaks channel. Hold up, my bad. Hold up, let me get it. Right there. Make sure y'all sub up to that channel. Because this actual live stream was running over there at the same time. And I was paying attention throughout the show. Y'all make sure y'all go sub to that channel, man. Make sure y'all sub up. Because that's the backup, man. If something ever happened over here, bro, but we gonna have to be somewhere. So let's go ahead and get that motion going over there. Let's get that motion flowing. But man, look, I hope this informed some of y'all a little bit about what's going on in the politics right now and what's kind of going on. And literally, go if you want to rewatch it back and fact check some of these shits, man. Really, go do it. I really advocate for you to go do it and double check what the fuck they talking about, because there's a lot of things that's going on right now that a lot of people don't know nothing about. Like, for real, they was one of the first people that actually covered on the first day of the war that we had with Iran. We bombed that school with all them girls in it. And you know that the Trump administration was lying about it. Trump talking about, here, there's multiple countries that have tomahawks. It's like, bitch, you the only motherfucker that's actually in this fight that got a tomahawk, nigga. He was trying to play it off like Iran did that shit. It's like, nah, y'all really use Chat GPT to bomb a school, all school for girls. A school for all girls. They was on top of this shit. They wasn't pulling the Fox News or the CNN shit. Like, Fox News just wasn't gonna talk about it at all. And CNN, they were just gonna try to like brush it off and act like they spoke on it, but they didn't speak on it. Like, nah, bro, these motherfuckers covering that shit, man. I give them props, man. I love that independent media. And maybe one day we'll be on some type of time like that, man. Getting out here in these streets and finding out what's going on. But look, y'all, make sure y'all hit the subscribe, like, share, turn notifications on, all that bullshit, you know, down here for all these channels, man. Make sure y'all do it up, especially the TikTok and the JVJ Speaks network. Gonna get there how I get there. But man, like, I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe. We got a long week to go through. I don't know what day it is. What is it? Wednesday or something? I don't know what day it is. But let's get through this week, man. Let's rock it out. We will be back here tomorrow. I fuck with y'all. Appreciate y'all. I would be like that one dude. So I don't know you enough to love you, but I catch y'all in the next ones always, though, man. Peace.